Alright, so boom. You're at this function with your boys having a relatively good time. You then see everyone stop what they're doing and look at one direction in the room, the door. Now you unfortunately found yourself in the back of the crowd, and while trying to fight through everyone to try to sneak a peek at what everyone's looking at, you just barely snuck a glance. It was the baddest girl you have genuinely ever seen in your life. And I'm not talking no 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 looking girl. Not even 10 out of 10. No sir. We're talking about a straight 30 out of 10. She then goes around the party asking a bunch of different guys what they do and their biggest life accomplishment. This gives you a little bit of time to think about what you're gonna respond with, and you only get one try, so you have to respond perfectly. When she finally arrives to you, she asks you the same question she's asked everyone else. What's your greatest life achievement? Now by this point, she's heard guys tell her how they're millionaires, own a bunch of property, own a bunch of expensive cars, travel around the world, yada yada. So anything you say from here on out is basically like throwing a free shot from the moon. Nonetheless, you remind yourself of how badly you want this, compose yourself, and with a straight face, you look her dead in the eyes and say, my greatest life accomplishment is 100%ing Dark Souls. Now in Dark Souls, there's plenty of achievements that will cause you to want to rip your hair out. But thankfully, our first achievement, and Kindle, was an achievement even a toddler could achieve. I just had to turn on the first bonfire and bam, I was done. I then made my way over to my boy Oscar so that I could collect my Estus flasks. But can we please take a minute to admire the absolute aura on my boy Oscar? He's literally radiating aura in his last moments. You gotta respect that. With my new 5 flasks acquired, I would unlock my second achievement and now finally be ready to make my way over to Lordran. Once I arrived in Lordran, I immediately beeline to the most loved level by every single Dark Souls player ever, the Catacombs. You see, the Catacombs is home to Gravelord Nito, or as I like to call him, Giant Skeleton. Now, Giant Skeleton here has some pretty good loot that I'm trying to have. Fortunately for me, he has no idea how to trade for that loot. For just one measly Eye of Death, Gravelord Nito would be giving me the weapon that would carry me through the whole first portion of this playthrough, the Gravelord Sword. In order to get the Gravelord Sword and trade with Gravelord Nito, you also needed to join his covenant. So this in turn unlocked my 4th achievement on the run, Gravelord Servant. And now that I had the Gravelord Sword, it was finally time for the real run to commence. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I might have just capped. You see, I low-key forgot a very important detail to this game, your strength. Even though I had the Gravelord Sword, I low-key had a little bit of a problem. I was just too scrawny to wield it. Yeah bro, I don't freaking know. With this newfound information, I took myself to the Undead Burg, where I started to farm souls until I was able to get to level 16.
Alright, now that I'm level 16, yeah, I can finally actually wield this sword. And bro, this sword does like a gazillion damage. It just actually just one shot. So yeah, this should make this challenge a billion times easier, bro.
Now that I could finally wield the Gravelord Sword, I was genuinely a demon. I was running through everybody, I was killing the Black Knights, ran through the Terrace Demon, and got to the Gargoyles in no time, allowing me to ring the bell and unlock my 5th achievement of the run. With the first bell now out of the way, it was finally time for me to go down to Blighttown and ring the second bell. And oh boy was I dreading this one. I first, however, had to slime out the Moonlight Butterfly, and this was obviously so I get the Watchtower basement key, as well as the Divine Ember, as it was going to come in handy later in the run. Of course, before I could even get to Blighttown, I would have to box my boy Havel. Now believe it or not, by this point in the game, this is supposed to be a semi-difficult fight, but because I had the Gravelord sword, which is basically like the gold pump from Fortnite, yeah, this is legendary loot. This fight was not even close, man. It was like that one episode of JJK where Gojo absolutely no divs Jogo. Jogo is like top tier, but he just unfortunately had to come across Gojo, which is like top 1. Yeah, that's how I'd explain the situation. Now the reason I dreaded Blighttown so much is because I knew I would be dying a lot at the Quelaag fight. And every time I would respawn, I would have the privilege to run through poison doo-doo water and get rocks thrown in my face. I can agree with you guys that this is indeed a skill issue, but it doesn't change the fact that it's really annoying. I will say though, once I got to Quelaag, I immediately forgot about how annoying Blighttown can be, because come on bro, you already know what timing we on right now. Listen Quelaag, I know this ain't the real you. I dabble in a little bit of arachnophilia, and if you don't know what that means, it's the sexual attraction to spiders.
Little dirty ass midget.
Alright, enough of the trolling. The trolling, you know? Nah, but for real though, once I killed Quelaag, this meant I could now ring the second bell and get my 6th achievement of the run. Now before dipping out of there, I realized that I was running a little low on souls. So what I decided to do was go kill a fraud known as Ceaseless Discharge. I was going to need to kill Ceaseless Discharge eventually to get to the bed of chaos, so I just decided to do it now, because let's face it, 20k souls in the beginning of a run is ballin'. Now my boy Ceaseless Discharge might be considered a fraud, but he is nowhere near as much as a fraud as this gentleman is right here, and I am of course talking about Pinwheel. Now I came to whoop Pinwheel for 2 reasons and 2 reasons only. One was so that I could get the achievement Rite of Kindling. The boss fights that were coming up were going to be a little harder than the ones I've already fought, so being able to kindle the campfires to get extra flasks was going to be very helpful. And the second reason being, I low-key just wanted the souls, bro. Hey bro, money is money. With that now done, it was time for me to kill a 3rd fraud, the Iron Golem.
Alright, before I even start fighting the Iron Giant, bro, I want to slime this dude out so he stops throwing nukes at my face. That is so annoying, bro.
And that's exactly what I did. I killed the Iron Giant's boy in front of his face. Talk about being a dog. Now the reason I went ahead and called the Iron Giant an Iron Golem, apart from them both being made of iron and having iron in their name, was because the same way you could cheese an Iron Golem in Minecraft, you could cheese the Iron Giant by just smacking his ankles and hoping he falls off the bridge. Yeah bro, this guy's a fraud bro. Iron Giant, more like iron garbage. Now killing the Iron Golem didn't give me an achievement, but it was the only way I would be able to arrive in Anne Orlando. And arriving in Anne Orlando was an achievement. Immediately after arriving, I went to go upgrade my faith to level 25. This is because before advancing through Anne Orlando, I would be heading back to the Undead Parish and then later to Firelink Shrine. The Undead Parish being where I would join the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant. This covenant was also the reason I needed 25 faith. It was the only way to join, and there's actually another way to like decrease it to 10 faith by playing PvP, but I didn't feel like doing that, so I'm not going to go on a whole yap session about how I could have. Now the reason I headed over to Firelink Shrine was so I could join Petrus's. Is that how you say it? Petrus's? I'm just gonna say Petrus. So I could join my boy Petrus's. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Okay, whatever. It was so I could talk to Petrus and join the Way of the White Covenant. There. Jeez, bro. I need to go back to Esau. And just like that, laddies, we're officially 25% through.
So you whores must think I'm playing.
From every single boss fight in Dark Souls 1, not including the DLC, there are 2 that piss me off the most. One being Lord Gwyn, mostly because the runback is just absolutely brutal. And the second, Ornstein and Smoke. Now it did not take me long to figure out how much of a fraud I was in this fight. I could not hold a candle to these 2, bro. And now that I'm thinking about it, bro, FromSoft knew exactly what they were doing. They had you fight a bunch of frauds. They even had you fight 2 bum-ass gargoyles in the beginning of Anne Orlando, made you think you were him, and then as soon as you get to Ornstein and Smoke, you just get the biggest belt's ass you have ever received. absolutely diabolical. Now, I know I'm ass at Dark Souls, but I'm not this ass where I'm getting belt's ass every time I run in this boss room. So I looked at the bigger picture and asked myself what the problem was. And I came to the conclusion that it was just the weapon I was using. The Gravelord's sword was no longer a gold pump, but a common SMG, and I needed something better. So I decided to go on a training arc where I would grind for a stronger weapon, and then come back and run my ones.
Your son has returned.
The weapon I was going to be building was the Chaos Blade, and of course I needed a katana for this. So I went to go kill the vendor to run him for his foams. He would be dropping me the regular katana that I would be needing to make the Chaos Blade. I also needed a very large ember, which was being gate kept by a butcher down in the depths. Unfortunately for him though, I am a demon, so I went to go spank him and take that very large ember out of that chest. Now obviously maxing out this Chaos Blade was going to take a bunch of souls. A bunch of souls that I unfortunately did not have. So I went to do what any desperate man would do in my situation. I went to go kill Great Wolf Sif. On my way there, I of course made sure to join the Forest Hunters Covenant, as this was another achievement added onto our run. Once I was done with this, I wasted no time killing Great Wolf Sif. Listen, alright, money is the root to all evil, but unfortunately 50k souls is 50k souls. Don't hate the player, bro, hate the game. Now that I had all my pieces to make my Chaos Blade, I went to my boy Andre and maxed it out as much as possible, which was plus 5 Chaos Blade. I also made sure to pop at least 10 humanities. This is because the Chaos Blade stacks with the amount of humanity you have, 10 being the max. So if you have 10 humanity, you're gonna do the maximum damage with this sword. But enough with all the yapping, because it was finally time for me to throw hands and run my ones. The 2v1 method these guys were running earlier was not going to work this time, because the katana I had now was making me move like a demon. These guys never stood a chance.
Oh my gosh, this might be around. Yes. Oh my days. Oh my days, we finally did it. Oh my gosh. Bro.
Would you believe it if I told you I did all of that just to not get an achievement? Now you guys are probably wondering why I'm excited. Well, it's because there's something waiting for me behind those two doors. You already know where I'm going with this, bro. Come on. Yeah, bro, if you genuinely thought I was going to kill these two garbage cans and receive absolutely nothing in return, you are a sick and twisted individual. And honestly, bro, I feel like I don't even gotta explain myself, because I feel like 95% of you watching this video already understand. Now, there was 2 achievements I would be getting here before I was leaving. One was the Lord Vessel, which is obviously me just collecting the Lord Vessel, and the second one being Princess's Guard, which is the Covenant Guinevere offers you to join. With those 2 objectives now out of the way, I was going to make my way down to Gwendolyn so I could join her Covenant and then slime her out. Here's a quick fun fact for y'all while I complete these 2 next achievements. Did you guys know that Gwendolyn is actually biologically a male? He was born a dude, but his affinity to moon magic was considered a feminine trait, so his dad, Lord Gwyn, basically forced bro to turn into a girl. He was raised as a female. So like, Gwendolyn is low-key trans. You learn something new every day. Before leaving Anne Orlando, I decided that I wanted to get done every achievement I could get done in Anne Orlando. One of those being going to the Painted World and killing Crossbreed Priscilla. Now, I was aware that I actually had to take off Priscilla's tail in order to get Priscilla's dagger, something I would be needing in order to complete the Knight's Honor achievement. But for some reason, the devs decided to make Priscilla's tail literally 2 centimeters long, so it was practically impossible for me to cut this tail off. And after accidentally killing her, I decided that I would come back in my second run and get the tail there. It was now time for me to go visit an old friend, Giant Skeleton. And I was actually running into a problem while fighting him. You see here, Giant Skeleton has a bunch of little skeletons protecting him. Yeah, but this guy has a literal scar me around him. So I was looking thinking about it. This guy ain't no giant skeleton. He's literally the skeleton king, bro. He literally has a army of little skeletons glazing him around. Epic Games made Dark Souls 1 confirmed. Now the reason why this is so annoying is because these skeletons literally don't die. The only way to truly kill them is to run around and look for a necromancer and then kill him. But then you gotta kill the skeletons all over again. So it's basically like a long process that I was low-key not trying to do. So I decided to use my brain this time, went back to Andre and crafted a divine sword. 1, maxing out a divine sword was already an achievement on its own, and 2, killing a skeleton with a divine weapon permanently kills the loser, so I would not need to run around like a moron. And just like that, my boy Skeleton King was no more.
I'm low-key him, I'm not gonna lie. Loki just cooked him with his own weapon, bro. Nah, I'm him. I'm him.
Alright, so I'm literally sitting here editing this video, and I'm going through all my footage to see what I want to put in. And bro, I peeped something absolutely insane. So right here, I'm basically running towards the bed of chaos because this is the next boss I want to kill. There's nothing much else I could do apart from, you know, killing the bed of chaos, and that's an achievement on its own. So I was like, you know what, bro, I'm just gonna go kill that and get it out the way. Bro, I'm looking at the view over here. Guess who the frick raised me, bro? Dark Spirit Knight Kirk. Are you dead ass right now? Gang, Kirk came into my game to haunt me, gang. I never did anything to this guy. You can't make this up, bro. Are we serious right now? Bro, I even started signaling to bro to like get the hell out of my game because I'm looking not trying to box right now. I'm just trying to get this bed of chaos out the way. And bro starts chasing me, bro. Kirk wants me gone. Like, brother, chill. Anyways, you know I had to outplay him right here. Look at this move right here. I made him jump off the cliff. Yeah, I'm a go, bro. And you see them 20k souls? I literally just took his souls. He joined my world to give me souls. You already know what time it was. It was time to put the Centipede Demon in the ground. Yeah, so basically the Centipede Demon essentially drops you a ring that basically gives you full fire protection 4. Like, you put this joint on and then, bro, you can just chill in lava like a goat. But that doesn't really matter because what's about to happen is like an insane plot point, bro. Insane character development. So here I basically pulled up on my boy Solaire, and from everything I've seen, the Dark Souls community usually tends to like this guy. This dude basically compares to like LeBron James in CR7. Yeah, that's how good he is. So, you know, I was going with the flow, bro. I was like, alright, everyone else likes this dude. I like this dude, bro. He's cool. He's cool. But anyways, after getting to the bed of chaos and successfully putting butt to ass, I got my achievement, and you guys already know why I'm not putting all the footage in. This boss fight is a genuine run simulator, bro. Like, there is no boss fight. It's just you running and then you just one-tap the guy. This guy's a fraud. Once I killed the bed of chaos, I started to head back, and there was this path that I didn't end up exploring. At the end of the corridor, I saw a massive door, and I'm sure you guys can tell from the insane amount of meme spam I'm doing in this video, I have a caveman brain, so if I see a big door, I'm gonna go try to open that John. Unfortunately, once I tried opening the door, it told me it was locked by some contraption, so I took my sorry ass on out of there and decided to explore somewhere else. By this point, I felt like it was appropriate to start collecting all the pyromancies, so after looking this one up, the fire whip, and getting it, I decided to keep exploring on my own, not looking anything up, and I eventually got lost. Where I ended up at was a very familiar looking corridor with a very familiar looking door at the end of it. As I got a little bit closer, I could just barely make out a silhouette at the end of the corridor, and I'm thinking, yo, who this is, you know? I'm about to go see who this is for real. Gang, it was my boy Solaire, and he threw a lightning bolt at my face, bro. If I wasn't a goat and dodged that joint like an absolute beast, I would have died. But gang, that ain't even the worst part, bro. This genuinely caught me off guard so bad that Solaire successfully slimed me out, bro. He successfully stabbed me in the back. I thought this guy was a goat, bro. And here he is just dumping his freaking nutsacks in my jaws. What are we doing? Bro, talk about top 2 anime betrayals. This is top 2 right here. And it ain't 2. Nah, but if you actually thought I was going to let Solaire get away with this, brother, you need to drink some more milk, because absolutely not. Look at me absolutely dog walking him right here. He has no idea what's about to hit him. I am hitting him with the nastiest Donzo walk I've ever hit anyone with. And what comes after this is probably the meanest back shot I have ever gave anyone in my life. Yeah, bro. And after putting the boy down like a rabid dog, you already know what I had to do. put on his Balenci, and walk away like an absolute G. Word is gone. Alright, this is a little embarrassing, but I forgot to mention that I actually joined the Chaos Servant Covenant before even getting to the Beta Chaos. I was just so eager to share my discovery about getting jumped by Mr. Kirk that I completely skipped over it. So yeah, here's me getting that achievement. Fun fact, I had no idea Ashleg was even in this game before I even started this challenge. I would always see pictures of it like online, but bro, I'd always assumed like it was on like Dark Souls 2, 3, maybe even Elden Ring, bro. I thought it was like a part of a DLC. You don't even want to know what my face looked like when I discovered this spot was in Dark Souls 1, bro. Anyways though, I came down here to join Path of the Dragon's Covenant. And of course, you know, I couldn't forget to cut bro's tip off, because I would be needing that for later. The Four Kings. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was struggling in this fight in the beginning, but once I did a little bit of research and, you know, asked Google why I'm so ass at Dark Souls 1, I realized that fighting the Four Kings isn't really a fight where I'm supposed to dodge their hits. It's kind of just a fight where you go blow for blow. Yeah, you just keep going punch for punch, and whoever ends up doing the most damage as fast as possible just ends up winning that fight. So I ended up putting Havel the Rock's armor, and from there on it was pretty easy. I will say though, the occasional purple nukes that just chuck at your face are so annoying because they're unavoidable. You can literally dodge them 100 times in a row, but because they just keep tracking to you until they connect, you might as well just let them smack you the first time they throw it at you, bro. Ceaseless Discharge, on the other hand, was kind of the opposite. It wasn't really the hardest to fight. The only thing that was hard was cutting off his tip. This part actually drove me insane, bro. I had to restart this fight like 4 times because I was on the brink of killing him, but I didn't want to kill him without cutting his tail off. So I would just let him kill me, then I restart, and yeah. And then finally, before I decided to go fight Lord Gwyn to end off my first run, I went back to where I first encountered Seath the Scalist, and I boxed Logan to the death so that he could drop me the last magic sorcery I would need in order to unlock Wisdom of a Sage achievement. I then went back to where I joined the Chaos Servant Covenant, and I had to offer up Dirty Humanity at the same time so that I could unlock the last Pyromancy and then unlock Bond of a Pyromancer achievement. There's also a bunch of different weapons I went to go farm for, and if I show you all of them in this video will be literally 3 hours long, so I'm low-key just not gonna do that and instead gonna skip to where I fought Lord Gwyn.
Alright, bro. Holy lag. Why am I lagging so bad? Alright, bro, let's do this. Let's kill the freaking goat. Oh my days, the scenic music, bro. Can I crit him? I don't know if I can. Oh. He's trying to hold me. Can I crit him or no? Oh, okay, I'm gonna die. Chill, bro, chill, bro. Just spanking me. Okay, bro. I'm dead. Oh!
With Lord Gwyn now dead, there were 2 paths I could have taken. The Dark Lord path or the Link to Fire path. And obviously if you have 2 eyes that can see, you could probably tell that I took the Link to Fire path. Now my second run was pretty straightforward. I was basically just going to try to speedrun the game this time and complete any last achievements that I left behind from last run. Obviously though, this time it was way easier because I was basically a smurf in a lobby with noobs. I was absolutely busted. Now to keep this video from being too long, like I said earlier, I'm not going to show you all the footage of me beating the game again, but what I will show you were the important boss fights that I needed the souls of. Those being the Moonlight Butterfly, the Iron Giant, Quelaag, and my boy Great Wolf Sif. I then went back to fight Ornstein and Smo, but this time I made sure to kill Smo first, leaving Ornstein to 1v1 me. This is because the person that you leave for last is the soul that you end up getting. I already had Smo's from last run and now I needed Ornstein's. Of course this time though, I absolutely no-diffed them because I'm a beast. Yeah, feel me? And of course for the last boss soul that I needed was Gwendolyn. This time, the fight was actually compy, bro. I'm not gonna lie, it took me a while. Like, the first run, I killed her first try. Second run, it took me at least 30 minutes. Like, I was actually kind of struggling. I then went back to the painter world, this time playing to cut off her tail and successfully get the dagger. I ended up using the same method I did against Seth the Skilless. If I got close to killing her without getting the tail off her, I just let her kill me so I could restart. And bro, whichever dev made the hitbox for this tail literally 2 freaking pixels, you need to get like edged to death, bro. You're evil. Anyways, I eventually did get the tail off for her, but bro, it took a minute, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I then went into the Abyss, and after killing the 4 kings, I went to join the last covenant I needed, Dark Wraith Covenant. The only way to join this covenant is by not putting the Lord vessel on the altar before going to fight the 4 kings. This is something I did not do my first run, so I just decided to do it in my second run. I was now going to work towards collecting every single miracle in the game so that I could get the Prayer of a Maiden achievement. Now for most of the miracles, you could end up just buying them off vendors, but there were 4 that were stuck behind covenants. The Gravelord Great Sword Dance was achieved by offering Gravelord Nito 10 Eye of Death at the same time. The Great Lightning Spear Miracle was achieved by offering up 10 Sunlight Medals to the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant. And lastly, the Dark Moon Blade Miracle was achieved by offering up 10 Souvenir of Appraisals to the Blade of the Dark Moon Covenant. I also feel like it's important to mention that in order for me to even trade for the Dark Moon Blade Miracle, I needed to leave Gwendolyn alive. The footage of me killing Gwendolyn earlier in the video was immediately after I traded for the miracle. I just ended up putting it there because it just made more sense to put it there, if that makes sense. You're also probably asking yourself, well, you said 4 miracles and you only listed out 3. Well, you see, the last one is a little different, so I've decided to leave that until the end of the video to better explain it. I then went to max out every single element of a weapon I possibly could. This includes a chaos weapon, fire weapon, enchanted weapon, lightning weapon, magic weapon, occult weapon, raw weapon, crystal weapon, and the strongest weapon. Now for some reason, occult, strongest, crystal, and raw were under the same clip, and I think I ended up accidentally deleting it, so I don't have the footage for that, but you guys are just gonna have to trust me. Here's my proof on my Steam account that I did it. And before moving on to my third run, I made sure to go to the giant blacksmith and craft every single boss weapon I possibly could with the boss souls I had, except for 2. You see, someone on the dev team thought it was a great idea to make there be 3 different Great Wolf Sith weapons. This means you need 3 souls from Great Wolf Sith and you're forced to play 3 runs in order to get all of them. I also needed 1 more Moonlight Butterfly soul, and there's actually only 2 Moonlight Butterfly weapons, so in theory I should have been done with that, but I think I accidentally ended up popping the soul in the first run without knowing I needed it, so now I kinda have to go get it again. With Lord Gwyn now dead for the 2nd time, I took the 2nd ending, Dark Lord, and got that achievement. I then made my way over to the Sunlight Altar, where I offered up Lord Gwyn's soul in return for the last miracle I needed for my achievement. And of course, after getting the Moonlight Butterfly soul and the Great Wolf Sith soul, I made my way over to the giant blacksmith where I would craft the last 2 weapons to unlock Knight's Honor achievement, and in return unlock the Dark Soul achievement.
The grinding is about to end here, bro. Where you at, my boy? Yo, gang. Chill. You know I am. Once I complete both these right here. Wait, no. Is this? Oh, it's this one. Sorry. Once I complete. Wait. Oh, no, we're good. Yo. Okay, I was actually just about to trip. I'm not gonna lie. Once I complete these 2, I should get Knight's Honor achievement, and that should immediately give me the Dark Soul achievement, completing all achievements in the game. We're gonna start off with Crystal Ring Shield. Boom. And for the last one, Great Shield of Artorias. Bang, bro. Oh my days, bro. I'm actually him, bro. We finally did it, bro. Holy frick, bro. Months of grinding, bro. Because I'm not gonna lie, bro. School was absolutely whooping me. But this past week, I'm not even trolling. I put more time into this game than my whole schoolwork. I'm not lying. I'm probably failing all my classes, but it's okay because I got the Dark Soul achievement. Oh my days. It's finally over, bro. It's finally over. Nah, bro. I'm never returning ever again. I'm not gonna lie. Yo, gang. I got the...
If y'all enjoyed this video, man, do your boy a favor and drop a like on it, you feel me? I usually wouldn't ask for one, but this video deadass took life energy out of me to make, and a like would be greatly appreciated, especially if I made you laugh, because I know some of y'all be looking at this video, you know, just straight up dying, and then you just don't end up liking the video. Like, gang, come on, bro. But anyways, boys, I love y'all. Jesus loves y'all, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
One day, I'ma have it one day. One day, we gon' get it one day. Fucking on your bitch, early morning, Sunday. Sunday, count 100. Diamonds on me skate.